Hi there, Darren from Success Physio. I'm just going to take you through a little workout that I'm going to do this on one arm, just so you can see the difference between an arm that's been worked on using blood flow restriction and an arm that isn't. So I'm going to go ahead and pump up my calf to about 40% of its occlusion pressure. I've talked about these in other videos. And then I'm going to barrel through a workout. We'll speed it up so you don't have to sit there and wait for the whole workout. But what it's going to consist of is 5 minutes. 30 reps in the first minute, 15, 15, 15, 15 for the first round. Then I'll have 3 minutes rest. Then I'll do the same 30, 15, 15, 15, 15, another 3-minute rest, and then a third round. Now, I'm really going to be struggling towards the end of that third round, even with this very light weight. Okay, this, without the blood flow restriction, I could do dozens and dozens and dozens of reps and not get the same effect that I would with the blood flow restriction. So here we go. Let's speed this up and we'll have a look at how I look and how I feel at the end of this. I'm not sure if I want to record this, but let's just see what happens. Okay, so that's the third set. Each one of these sets is taking me around about 30 seconds to complete, and then I get about 30 seconds rest, which I can tell you I really appreciate. Got another 20 seconds. Okay, obviously I'm demonstrating this with bicep curls. This is not just about getting big biceps. You can use this technique to promote strength in any number of different muscles. Usually it's for muscles downstream from the cuff, whether that's in your arm or it's in your leg. But I could be using this on muscles in my forearm, in my calves, all sorts of different muscles. I'll give you some other examples in a minute. Okay, so that's the end of my first round of 30 and then 4 times 15 reps on the minute every minute. You can probably see there's a bit of a difference in colour in my forearms, in my upper arms. A little bit pinker on this side. I can actually feel that I'm a little bit more swollen up with blood on this side. That's understandable. There's blood getting in there, but there's none getting out. So we're getting a build-up of waste products in there. I'm starting to feel at the end of each of those reps as I would feel at the end of a good strong set. That's my timer going off again. Now I've got 2 more minutes of, actually, I've got 3 minutes of rest here, which is really luxurious. I'm going to see how I go using this. I think it's about 4.5, 5 kilos on this dumbbell. I'm actually going to have a backup of a 4 kilo dumbbell just in case I wuss out and can't complete my third set. So 2.5 more minutes of rest. Back with you in a minute or 2. Okay, here we go for our second round. 30 reps. 3, 4. And just like before, I've got very little rest time before my next minute starts. That's right now, so straight into another 15. I'm struggling. That's really starting to get hard. So again, you can see the difference in colour in my arms. We'll see what happens over the next few sets, but yeah, getting tough. Now, different people will use different tempos when they're actually doing this exercise. Certain studies will use certain tempos, as in As in something like a different tempo might be 1, 2, down for 2, up for 2, down for 2, and so on. I'm trying to get a little bit of a squeeze at the top, but I've got to say I'm really starting to struggle. Whew. 22 seconds of rest. Luxury. All right, so stick with me. We'll see how big this baby gets. So I finished my first 2 rounds. I've got one more round to go, but I can tell you already I've got a massive pump in this arm. This is what it feels like at the end of a really good normal weights workout. If you're into bodybuilding or if you're into strength training, you'll know what it feels like to achieve the pump. Okay, the pump is like this Goldilocks point, this peak point where you haven't underdone it, you haven't overdone it, you've done it just right. Any of you who have seen Pumping Iron will have heard Arnie talking about the pump. Now, we're not all Arnold Schwarzenegger, we're not all trying to be huge, but muscle mass is good for everybody. Good for everybody, all right? It's great for metabolism. You will beat off diabetes. You are more likely to stay on your feet for longer. You're less likely to fall. Functionally, in terms of sport, you're going to be bigger and harder to stop if you're on the rugby field. You're probably going to have the tools to then develop other sporting qualities like speed, like more endurance, say in cycling. Lots and lots of benefits. So muscle mass is really where it's at, and what I'm talking about with this pump is a sensation which actually it feels pretty good, even though the actual workout itself is pretty demanding. So yeah, I'm about to get stuck into my 3rd round, so I'm going to be struggling towards the end, but yeah, I'm achieving what I want. Okay, 10 whole seconds of rest. My tempo has increased a little bit, I'm wussing out a little bit, but yeah, I'm still in the zone, I feel. Okay, so I'm just about to approach my last lot of 15 in my 3rd round. I'd probably be guessing at this stage that 5 kilos is probably just a little too light for me, because I'd like to be actually failing somewhere before my 15 reps. That would be a pretty good indication that I'm actually still working the right range. I'm still pretty confident I'm getting the right effects here. Fifteen, 14, 15. All right. Can I tell you that those last few reps were pretty hard? So again, I'm pretty confident that I'm in the right zone there. Now, you'll probably see from the difference in color in my arms that it's distinctly different. This one's all pink. Now, you might just say, well, that's just because you blocked off the blood flow. Yeah, true. But what it means is that I've got that backup of waste products in this arm that I don't have in this arm. Now, yeah, I'm right-hand dominant, so this is my, this is my normal dominant arm, but I have a terrific pump in this arm. I'm probably carrying a little bit too much body fat at the moment to show any vascularity, but this is really what I want to achieve. I can actually feel I'm quite tight in that arm. So I've done my 3 rounds. That was for a total of 15 minutes. That's about as long as we need to have the cuff on, so I'm going to undo that. If we had someone who had one particular body part that was a problem, maybe they want to work on the strength in their forearms or something like that. So we would probably just use the one cuff and work that single forearm where there's a problem. If you're into bodybuilding or strength training, training for a sport, and you want to use blood flow restriction training as a light day, because that's perfectly valid, use BFR for a light day, and then go back to your heavy training. go back to your heavy training, which will actually help with that whole neural drive. So that's the adaptation you'll get from heavy training. So normally we would probably work both arms at the same time, both legs at the same time. Now, I was doing bicep curls then, which perfectly valid. The mirror muscles make you feel good. I could be doing the same thing for tricep press downs. I could be doing the same thing actually for muscles which are actually proximal or on the upstream side of the cuff. And some studies have shown benefits to things like chest, to deltoids. So there are benefits. Now, as to why that happens, that's still a subject of discussion. Is it because those waste products are actually triggering the growth in the muscles? So some of the waste products here are affecting these muscles, okay, and therefore they get benefit even though they are trained also at a light load. There's also discussion that increase in strength or muscle mass in this area is purely because of, say I'm doing a bench press and my triceps are being occluded. Okay, so the blood flow is not getting to my triceps, therefore the waste products are building up in this arm, and then the overflow gets to here. It could just be that the triceps are actually fatigued and the pecs and the shoulders have to actually step in to actually do the work that the triceps would normally do. So that's up for discussion. There's lots of things which we're still learning about blood flow restriction training, but what we do know is that it has some fantastic benefits for clinical populations and for the athletic population. It's a fantastic modality. If you'd like to know more about this, get in touch with us at Success Physio. You can see the numbers probably attached to whichever media this is going to be put onto. And if you have any questions, just get in touch. If you're a trainer, if you're a coach that wants to get a player back onto the field sooner, or a player that doesn't want to lose muscle mass while they're recovering from an injury, get in touch with us. This is great stuff. The changes that blood flow restriction triggers are significant. So hit us up, get in contact with us, and we'd be happy to spend some time talking to you about how we can provide blood flow restriction training for you, your clients, your patients. We'll talk to you soon.